Shani, yesterday we were doing a second last program, which was 0.5 greater than 0.5, and the example of if and else if.
Could you repeat what you said?
Yesterday we were doing a program with for the example of if else if, in which we expand the question with the 0.5 and 0.3.
Correct.
There you set an example of greater than 0.5. Second statement, conditional statement was greater than 0.3.
Correct.
So I was watching those videos. So suddenly a question came into my mind that what if the ratio is exactly 0.5, 0.5 or 0.3? Will
then
we
it
get
will
answer?
go to the, if I'm saying greater than 0 only, then the 0.5 will go to whatever is the range for 0.3. Greater than 0.3, that particular condition will be met.
Okay, so if it is exactly 0.5, that then the second condition will meet.
Correct.
And
if I had written greater than equal to, then the first condition would have met.
So if we replace it with the greater than equal to, is it okay?
It depends on the question, right? Sometimes we want greater than, we don't want equal to, or sometimes we want greater to equal to. So it depends on the question.
Okay, so if we are not marking equal to, then also it is met with any of the condition.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sanjeet, are you able to open it?
No.
No, why? Double click on it.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can, but I can only see the list of files.
Okay. I had opened the file. Okay, I'll share again.
Yes, and when you share, share the complete, what do you call? There's an option like when you share, click on screen. Don't pick any particular file. Click on screen.
Okay.
What is okay? No email.
No, I haven't opened the email. I don't know. Okay. Now you can see it.
Yes, but you are already in VB editor. Go back to Excel.
Okay. I need to close
Alt F11.
Okay, Alt F11.
Let me see if I can show you what I meant, because now it would have been gone again. So the error that you're getting, Sanjeet, it is that the macros are disabled. Okay. So I'll just show it to you on my screen. For example, let's say I'm going to open this workbook on which we work. And it's in desktop. I think it's already open. Yeah, it's already open. You see over here on the left hand side, you will get a message. As soon as you open this Excel, you should get a message box on the left hand side to enable macros.
Enable macros.
Until unless you don't enable the macros, your programs are it will not be working.
I'm not getting any message like that.
You will not get, since you already entered into VB editor. Once you go to the VB editor, the message disappears. So once you close your file and you open your workbook, right? As soon as you open your workbook, try to look over here. Somewhere on the left side, there should be something to do with enabling the macros.
Okay. I will see.
Yeah. So do that and then you will see your program should work now.
Okay. I'll try.
All right. Okay, Vikas, the problem with the downloadables might be because of the password. Are you able to download the file or you're not able to download the file also? Vikas?
No, let me clear my screen. I will show you. Yeah.
Okay. Because according to me, disable. I've enabled all the downloads. Okay.
I think this is related to Genpact policy, not the.
Yeah, that's okay. But if you click on it, so it is not giving you anything to preview. But when you click on it, it should be able to download the document for you. Password I've given it to IVY, capital I.
Yeah, yes, you have given to me, but on some of, let me show some of the other. Give a second.
What's the password, Shani?
It's capital I, VY, I'll send to all.
But if I try to download this particular one, I can't. I can't.
Just go down, automation of Excel, where the PDF shows.
Okay.
Go down. So ignore this part because this is for the preview. Now
Okay.
click on the download.
Okay, yes, I can. Then I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere. That's why I made it downloadable, because you had told me about this problem. So you could not preview it. So if you can't preview it, that's why I made everything easy for downloading. Once you download, put the password. That's it.
Thank you, Shani. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's get started then. We had finished with nested ifs yesterday, and today we are going to start with another very interesting concept called loops. Can anybody tell me why do we need loops?
To perform certain activity multiple times.
Exactly. So to repeat the process, right?
To perform
So
the
if
activity
you-
again and again.
Yes, to repeat something again and again. And why
If
do
the
we need it?
condition if condition certain condition is true, then only it go out of loop. If that is not true, then it will again loop, means go back to
Absolutely.
the previous.
Correct, correct. So if you remember this sheet that we were working on, do you remember this problem that we worked on? Right? Did I press the control, whatever my shortcut was, for 12
Control
times
shift
or only
shift.
one time?
12 times.
12 times.
I had to press it for 12 times. And imagine if there were 2000 rows of data or 3000 rows of data. Would you think pressing of the shortcut key is also fun?
No.
No.
Not at all, right? So we want to automate this process. So we already know, okay, this is the process. Now I want to repeat this process. So if I go in the back end and I look at the code that was generated by Excel, so that says that this is the process of transposing one record. Now this process I want to repeat for certain number of times. So what I should do, I should put the entire process in a loop. Make sense? So that is what looping does for us. It helps us to repeat a certain number of the process for a certain number of time. Now we can work with either definite loops. Definite loops are given by for next. What do you mean by definite loop? In which we know exactly how many number of times we need to repeat it. So if I say, the number of records are 20. So do you know how many times the loop has to run, or it's unknown?
We know.
You know
20 times.
So it's 20 times. So it's a definite loop. Second type of loops are conditional loops, like the example Ashish was giving. And those are do while, do until, and we can also put go to inside it. Now, what is this do while and do until do? They keep on running the tool till we meet a condition. So based on a condition, it decides it will run for 20 times or 30 times or 40 times. So let's say when we were over here, if I did not count the number of records, then that would be a definite loop or conditional loop.
It will be conditional.
Definite.
It is, if I did not know how many records are there, somebody passed the sheet
Conditional
to me.
loop.
Conditional.
It's a
Conditional.
conditional
That
loop.
would be
And
conditional.
what do you think, till what point it should keep running? What is the condition?
Till end point.
Definite.
And
If
data end.
the data shows as blank.
Data end. How do you know the data will end?
Blank
Will be
function.
empty rows.
Empty cell.
rows. Exactly. There is empty cell. So there is an empty cell wherever you are, if the next cell is also empty. So just to give you a thought process of what I'm trying to make you understand on condition. So this was one record. This was second record, correct?
Yes.
So there is an empty cell between two records. But
Right.
if I am on a current cell and the next cell is also empty, something like this. If the next cell is also empty, then it means my number of records have finished. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
So this is a conditional loop in which we are not counting. We don't know how many times it has to run, but we have a condition. What is a condition? That wherever I am, the next cell is also empty. And if it is empty, then stop run. So these two type of loops we are going to cover. So today we are only focusing on for next. And for next, how do you write it? For, followed by the variable name, followed by the start number, followed by the keyword to, followed by the end number. Then we have lines to repeat. And then we end it with next type. Oh, next variable name. I don't know why when it comes to loop, only I comes in my head. I think it's because from the beginning, we all have done loops with I's.
For I.
For I, that is what comes out for any time we are doing looping. So we will do next variable name. Now, all these things that you're learning, whether it's if or else if or for next, everything is still going to be inside our subs that we are writing. Okay, so let's take an example. Now, if you remember, I told you yesterday, ifs were relatively easy. For next is not easy. Looping is not easy. The reason I said looping is not easy because that is something not natural to us. So how do we figure out that a loop has to be applied? So I'm taking a very simple example. So write a program to show the table of 5. Okay, so let's say table 5. Now I have to show the table of 5. How is it going to be? It's going to be 5 into 1, then 5 into 2, then 5 into 3. So can I do like this? 5 into 1 and then something like this. 5 into 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and we can continue till 10. Good idea?
No.
But
No,
we
no.
have to write it again and again 10
I have
times.
to write it again and again. So that is what should catch your eye when you're writing a code and you see that, okay, you know what I did? I just copied the code and edited the code a little bit to repeat it. So anytime when you're writing a code and you see, okay, there's a repetition in the code, you're copying and editing the code, or you're writing exactly the same code as on the top again, just because you want to repeat it, that's a time you should stop and think, okay, how can I make it more convenient and apply a loop over here? So if you look over here in this example also, kind of this entire part is constant, right? For every line message box 5 into is constant. What is changing is only these number from 1 to 5 is changing. Correct?
Yes.
So how can we apply a loop over here? Let's see. So I'm going to just make this as all comment. And how are we going to, so dim I as integer. Like I said, by default, it's programmed I is equal to 1, 2. What should be the end number?
10.
How many times you want to run the loop?
10.
10
times. And
Right? Nowadays, I don't know why kids learn till 12, but my time it was only till 10. So 1 to 10. And what do I want to put in message box? So somebody who does not come from programming background, try to tell me, okay? If you're coming from programming background, I know these kind of things are simple for you. So what it should be? Message box what?
5 into 1.
I.
5.
5 into
I.
I, right? Why I? Because I value is going to change. And how does it change? So every time you come to next variable, like this part, next variable name, what happens over here is the variable value gets incremented by 1. That's a default value. So how is it going to work? Dim I as integer. Does anybody know what is the value of I over here?
1.
5.
0. VBA default value is 0,
0,
for a
so-
integer. Any number value it's 0, any text value it's blank. Then it comes over here and assigns the value of 1 to I. Right? It goes down, 5 into 1 becomes 5, goes to the next line. Over here, what is happening? I plus 1, so it becomes 2. Once it becomes 2, it goes back to the first line and checks whether it is still between start and end number. So is it? Is it in between the start and the end? Yes. So it will go to the next line once again. And this time it will do 5 into 2 becomes 10, goes to the next line, becomes 3 and keeps on doing it till I becomes
10.
10.
in 10 again it will enter, right? It will do 5 into 10 and then it becomes 11. So when I becomes 11, that's the time it will exit the for loop. So what we are doing is by defining the start number and end number, we are telling how many times this process needs to be repeated. So if I run this program, so I'm getting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, all the way to 50 and end.
Shani, this portion of assigning a number is something confusing to me. So where this VBA is assigning initially
By
1.
default. by default, because none of the other provides confusing Faisal, because none of the other programming languages have a default value attached to the variables. But as soon as you create a variable, it's putting a value in there.
And just because writing this for function over here or code over here, it's starting from 1. Is that what you are saying? Or which portion of the code is assigning a value 1 plus
Variable.
1 or 2 plus 1
Integer,
or 3?
data type, integer
Over here.
as a by default value.
So over here, it makes a default value as 0.
Okay.
Then over here, it is saying I is equal to 1, right?
Okay.
And comes inside and checks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then comes out when it's 10.
Okay.
Shani, I have one question.
Yes, Ashish.
So why we have taken as integer here? Why not long and anything else?
I don't know. That's a default programming done in my brain long time back. You know, like I was saying, like for I only comes out of my mouth.
There is some
Similarly, I is always integer in my life.
But we can
I think
use long and other data type as well.
long, integer, long, byte. Either one you can use. No problem.
Yes,
Should
we
be
can
there.
use byte as well.
You can use byte as well. Like I said, you know, it's a default programming in my head. I started programming when I was 16. Now I'm 41. So it's, you know, little longer duration of imprint has happened. Could you please repeat of what, Abhishek, which part you want me to repeat? Why I've taken as integer? No, Ashish had asked that question. Abhishek, what's your question?
Sorry, Ajani, but I didn't get anything.
Okay.
That's why.
So what I'm trying to tell you over here is that what we are trying to learn today, we are trying to learn the concept of loops. Now, what is a loop? Loop is helping me to repeat a process over and over again, right? So instead of, imagine this thing, instead of writing one particular thing multiple times. So let's go over here. And let's say this entire code is transposing and deleting how many records? How many? One?
Yes.
How many did we teach to macro? Only one. So if I have to do it on multiple, let's say if I have to do it for 10, what is the process? The process could be that I repeat this code for 10 times, like this.
10 times.
Yes.
You think that's a good idea?
No.
No.
Not a good idea. So whenever you find yourself that, okay, you are repeating or you're writing the code again, or you're copying the code and editing a small part of the code, that is the time you should understand that, okay, probably instead of redoing my work again and again, let's try to put a loop around it. So what I can do, I can put a entire, this is the entire loop, and I can put a for I is equal to, let's say I have what do you say, 20 records. So I can put I is equal to 1 to 20, right? I'm not saying this is a perfect code I've written, but just to give you an idea, we are putting a loop around the entire process, and this will repeat now 20 times.
Okay.
Okay.
So I, is it mandatory to keep it I?
It's not mandatory to keep it I. Like I said, you know, somehow when you're learning in formal schools and all, they love I with loops. And like I told you, you know, I've learned long time back, and since then for I is stuck as for I only. But it could be any variable name. That's why I put over here variable
Okay, it's a
name. Not
variable
necessarily
name,
I.
so it can be anything.
It can be anything, yes.
But whatever we are using in beginning, that is also in the end.
Yes, correct. So your variable name, which you start with, and you assign a start and end number, that is what should be with the next statement as well.
Okay, so now I get it for I is equal to 1 to the number of repetition we want to do.
Correct.
And message box is like to show the display that we are going to multiply. We are going to create a table of 5.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
5 into I represent to 1 to 10 as
Yes,
far as my
1 by 1, because it's incrementing default by 1. So starts with 1 and ends at 10.
Okay, so in the beginning you are telling that I is equal to 0 is default.
By default it becomes 0. Yes.
So here we are giving it condition that do not act it as 0, act as I is equal to 1 to 10, right?
Yes. No, not
Okay.
act as 1 to 10. It initializes, it starts with 1 and it keeps on incrementing the value of I till it reaches the end point.
Okay, and what is the meaning of that next I?
Next I, it makes the variable value increment by 1.
So it is also default or +1, or we can change it to a 2 or 3?
We can change it,
No,
and
it
I'm
will
going to
be
teach
1
you
because
how.
we are repeating.
Yes, by default is 1, but we can change it.
Okay, so it will be changed in that condition if we want to repeat it twice, like, and not in the one repetition, like in 2 in repetition.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
So Ishani, basically what we are doing is we are assigning a value to the multiplying number I, which is I over here. So basically for is doing nothing but assigning the value to I. Every time it repeats it adds 1.
Correct.
Not the full step of multiply this by this and again. So it's assigning a value again and again for the next 10 times.
Yes.
Not a whole step.
Yes, correct. Okay.
I think you were right. Loop will be much difficult then.
It is difficult
Actually,
in the sense because it's not natural, right? We kind of punish our kids like that. Keep writing this thing till you get it right. Like at least I do that looping part in my talk. Right? Repeat the spelling 3 times. Loop. Definite loop. Number of times 3. But it is not a natural process to think about loops. It becomes difficult for the programmers who are non-programmers. It becomes difficult. If you've been programming for a while, automatically it's a part of our thought process. But for non-programmers, I have an experience of teaching VBA for a very long time now. Almost 10 years I've been teaching VBA, and I have found this thing that this becomes the toughest part to understand, that how do I know where to put a loop, or how do I know a loop will be required here. So that's why I took this example, that anytime you see repetition happening, right, that's a good time to think about a loop. So you have to keep your eyes open and see, okay, am I copy pasting and editing, or I'm just copying the same code over and over again? Anytime these kind of things are happening, apply a loop.
Essentially, like yesterday program, in last program, we were doing some mobile operators name, and we were changing those name. Here also we can apply the loop for
Absolutely.
phone number.
Absolutely. So let's
Right?
do this thing. Let's try to see an example over here.
Shani, I have
this
one
is
question.
Yes, Tarun.
Can we create a loop where the difference of I should be 5?
Yes, absolutely. That's what Abhishek had also asked. I will tell you how to change the default value. Okay. So for example, yesterday, if you remember, when we ran this thing, if we put something which is invalid, it said invalid and it stopped. Correct? Yes. Now, what if, like, when you go online, is it like if it's invalid, it stops and then you have to start right from again, or it gives you certain number of instances to keep on trying and then it tells you now you're locked? It gives you few chances, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It gives you few chances. So let's say we want to allow the person to enter the phone number at least 3 times. Okay. So where should I write what should I write? Where should I write? Think.
Under the lane phone number 10, where we are validating, is it 10 digit or not?
If it is 10 digit or not, but how will I put a loop underneath it?
We can put after
Before
message box invalid.
Message box invalid.
Invalid number. After
Invalid number. After that we can put.
If number
After
is invalid,
that,
he can
how
try.
you have to basically what you need to repeat. You need to repeat entering the number, right, and then checking the number. This is the main part which you have to repeat 10 times, right?
Right.
And if it's true, then you want it to come over here.
Right.
Okay.
I think after
So,
the declaration,
after the declaration, if I put so for I is equal to 1 to what?
Three.
1 to 3.
We said we want to repeat this process 3 times. Okay, now this is going to be one more thing I'll have to teach you over here in order to get this program done. Now let's say if I run this program, I put the first time, it says invalid, it goes back, asks for again I'm putting invalid, goes back, asks for again I'm going to put invalid, and it ends. Right? Now at the end, we can also put a message box saying
maximum attempt of number.
logged out. Okay, maximum attempts reached, something like that.
It's
okay.
like
However,
we do in the password site.
However, there's a problem in this code. What is the problem? If I give it wrong, it works. What if I give right?
It will again pop up that log.
It'll say Airtel, and again it'll say enter the phone number.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a logical error over here. So how do we deal with it? This, I know I'm telling you a little early on, but since you wanted to understand how loops work, we use something called an exit statement, which I'm going to tell you again. Exit statement. What is an exit statement? It helps us to come out of the
loop.
program or a loop.
Loop.
So what are the exit statements we have? We have got something called exit sub. What it does, it ends the program.
And go to.
Then we have something called exit for, which ends the
Loop.
for loop. Okay. And then we have exit do, which ends your do loop.
Do loop.
So over here, let's say, as soon as it goes to else if, like say when it's not, if it says it's not a, if it's a valid number, then what should we do?
Exit.
Then we want to exit. So where should I put this exit?
Exit
After
Message box, yes.
Right? And I'll have to put for all of them.
Yes.
Because if anyone is returning these right providers, then I have to exit. And what do I exit? I'll have to exit the sub. Why can't I exit the for? Can anybody think about it? Why shouldn't I exit the for? Why am I trying to exit the loophole, the entire?
Because it will close by 3 after 3. After
So
3 repetitions.
if I put exit for,
If the condition
problem
is true,
it will still give me message box maximum attempt reached, because what
Yes.
you're exiting only the for loop. You're not exiting the sub. So what it does, it finishes the for loop, but whatever is the next line, it will start working on that. So do we want maximum attempts reached? If you are giving the right phone number?
no.
We don't. So that's why if I give 1 wrong, let's say 2 wrong, and the third one, let me give correct, Airtel, and it's out.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Any other questions? Now let's talk about what you asked me, how to change the default increment. Right? How do we change the default increment? For changing that, we use something called step. How do we write it? For I is equal to, let's say, 1 to 10. And in the same line, we write step. If I want to increment by 5, I'll write step 5. Right? Now, when I've written step 5, how many times do you think this loop will run?
2 times.
2 times. When I is equal to 1 and when I is equal to 6, because in the third increment, it will become 11. So 2 times this whole loop will run. So to answer the question that you all were asking, Tarun and I think Ashish, how do you change the default? You change the default by putting the word step in the for loop and step 5. So that changes the default increment style.
Mishani, could you
Now-
please repeat for that
please
exit
repeat
concept
it.
once?
The
Please
step
repeat.
part.
Yeah, this part.
So
Step part.
we said, right, whenever I is there, right, whenever I go to next I, by default, it always increases by 1. So if I was 1, at next time it will become 1 plus 1, 2. And next time it comes back, it will become 2 plus 1, 3. Right? So if I don't want to increment only by 1, if I wanted I plus 4 to happen or I plus 3 to happen whenever it comes to next I, there we have to write the keyword step in front of the for line. And this reinforces the increment. Now, when I go to next I, in this case, now what will happen? It will do I plus 5 and not I plus 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the next time it will go I.
Every time I plus 5. Every time it comes to next I, it will do I plus 5.
So it will have just 2 rounds.
Exactly. It will have only 2 rounds.
Okay. Ishani, even can you explain once more how the step follows for the above program? How it goes, like after can you explain how the loop works and how the for works?
Sure, absolutely. Let me do this thing. Let me show you in this fashion. What I'm doing is, like, when you write a code, you can debug your code by pressing F8. So when you press F8, it executes the lines one by one. So just to show you how it is working. So it's on the first one, yellow one.
Yeah.
Then it goes to this part, right? Then it goes to this part. What is the value of I over here? Value of I over here is 1. You see, it's showing I is equal to 1.
Yeah.
Phone number is what? It's empty right now. Why it's empty? Because this line has not been executed. So when I execute it, now it's asking for phone number. I'm entering it. Now your phone number is 7675, right?
Okay.
Now next step, it has to do what? It has to calculate the length. It has calculated the length as 4, right? Is 4 not equal to 10? Answer is yes.
Yes.
4 is not equal to. So it went to the next line and it said it's invalid.
Invalid.
Right? Now this has occurred. Now where it will go? It will show invalid and it will go to end if.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
After end if, where it goes? Next I. What is happening at next I? It will increment the value of I. So now if I hover on top of it, a value of I is 2. Again, the same process. It's asking for a number. Let me enter a right number this time. So now it is going to check. This is 10, not equal to 10. So this will be false. So since it is false, it went to where? It went to else if. And it is extracting the first 3 digits. And since it is true, it goes to Airtel. It shows me the message box of Airtel. And then where it goes to exit sub.
Okay.
And it ended the sub now.
Okay.
It ended the program.
Okay. And
Shani,
if
what is the difference between exit sub and end sub?
End sub is a statement that we require to end our program of a sub. Like, it's a procedure is a sub, right? So you start with the word sub and you always end with the end sub. That marks the ending of the program. And when you use your exit statement like end sub, wherever you are in the program, depending on when the condition is met, it takes you directly to end sub. Because think about it, Kshitij, we said, what is a program? It's a set of instructions which is executed sequentially. Right? So ideally, if exit sub was not there, this after giving Airtel, it should have gone to end if and then again gone to it next time. But I want to break that sequence. Right? So I put exit sub. What it does, it takes me to end sub.
Yeah, makes sense.
Why didn't we use a end loop? Because we are working for the loop and we want to break that loop. Why did you take only exit sub?
I didn't understand the question. Could you repeat it once?
I mean to say, why did you take the exit sub only? You told us about the 3 exits.
Oh, yeah. I had 2 choices. I could have either used exit sub or exit for. Okay. Now, if I used exit for, where will it end? It will end over here. And then it will execute the next line. So next line is what? This is maximum attempt reached. So if someone has given the right answer, do we want this statement to come?
No.
No. So that means I want to bypass any other statements that are there in the program and directly go to the end of the program.
Okay, so use of exit for end for the loop, and all the loop will be it will next jump to the next type.
Absolutely. Yes. So it will come out of the loop only, not out of the program. And exit sub brings you out of the program.
Okay.
One small question. If we use next I+1, that will work or not?
No, that doesn't work. And that kind of messes up our basic working of our loops also in VBA.
Okay.
So see, each programming language has its own way of writing syntax. Don't try to mix and match.
Okay.
Okay. All right. One more thing I want to add on, and then I'll give you two tiny programs, fun programs. One thing I want to add is this increment that we talk about. This can be positive or even negative, right? What I mean is I could write something like for is equal to I is equal to 1 to 10 step minus 1. Yes or no?
Yes.
But
yes, but what? Yes, but what? I think Faisal, that was you.
1 minus 0 will be 0, then it will return 0 value.
I think
will
it
not
will
run
never
anything.
end. Yeah.
Right.
It'll never run. Forget about end, it will not run only.
Won't run. Because you have given the command of 1 to 10. So it will fall in minus 1.
It won't work. Okay. So what do I need to do in order for the negative increment to work? Tarun?
10 to 1.
Yes. So whenever you give a negative increment, you have to make sure your start number is greater than the end number. Only then it will be able to decrease. So ideally, whenever it comes to next I, what it is doing is I plus whatever is step value. Now, in case of us, now it is giving I, but our step is plus of minus 1. So now it is doing decreasing it, right? So it's doing a minus 1 over here. But anytime you have a negative increment, you have to ensure your start number is greater than the end number, which is not true when you do a regular for loop. Okay?
Can you please repeat the sections?
Yes. So this step, I was saying it can be positive or negative. Now, if I put a minus 1, it will not run the loop.
Yeah.
It will not run the loop, right? But if I put it like demi as a teacher, and for I is equal to 1 to 10, step minus 1, message box, let's say I, and if. Okay. So I've run it, F5. And if, imagine next time. F5. See, nothing is happening. I have pressed F5. Trust me. Nothing happened. Okay. Why nothing happening? Because of the start and the end number. Start number has to be greater than the end number for the reverse loop to work. Okay. And once we have done that, now it works.
Okay. Now got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Right. So let's write.
And where we can use exit do?
When you write do loops. We have not done do loops yet. We will do some other class. Okay. Next week probably. Yeah, let's write a quick program. So write a program to show the odd numbers between numbers entered by the user. So the user is giving you the start number and the end number. Okay, so you ask what is your start number, ask the user what's the end number, and based on that, whatever is the number range the person has given, show me only the odd numbers in that particular range.
I don't know why every time you give any kind of assignment, it seems it is impossible to do.
Like we did yesterday, the key to do all these things. I work as a consultant and I do a lot of automation for, companies. And my projects are 1 month long sometimes. I'm sitting and doing coding for them for 1 month. So do you think I can just think of a program and start writing? No. What did I tell you you should do? First thing.
You
Right,
should write
algorithm.
algorithm.
Just write an algorithm. You know, I am very old school. I have paper and pen throughout my. Whenever I sit in work, I need my paper and pen. I need something to scribble. My notepad is also there in my bag when I'm traveling. If I can't scribble, my brain doesn't work. So have the habit of breaking down a problem into smaller chunks. And that is my habit, not only for programming, for everything. In Excel also I work this way. Right? So think about what is the problem. What do you need? Let's write the algorithm once again together. What will be the first step?
We have to enter one number, first
Variable
number and
for
second number.
the start number and end number.
So get start number.
Start number.
Okay, let's put number 2. Let's just break it down further. Get end number. Okay, next.
Next,
Between this number.
numbers
If-
between
if
those two
condition.
numbers.
Break it down. Break it
divided
down.
by two.
Further break it down.
Declare variables.
I said I want to see all the odd numbers. Right? So what do you need to do?
So for condition,
Start loop, end loop, and end loop.
You will put okay, let's
If
talk like
condition.
this. If condition will do what?
If that we have done yesterday, if
So-
it's divisible by
So what
2,
you are essentially
then you have to
doing is
false.
you're
first we
checking
will
the
run.
start number. You're checking the start number if odd or not.
So
Yeah.
we have to run for loop for all the numbers, and
So
then
you
we'll
guys
run
are
one
making the same mistake which I'm telling you not to do. You are thinking in terms of program. Don't think in terms of program. Think like a person who's going to do it on a piece of paper. So forget for loop. So
if it is-
what let's say I gave you the number of starting as 2 and 7.
So if the provided number is even to, then we will add 1 plus 1. And if the number is odd, we will take it automatically
We will use that number
as a default number. Because
as
the
a
number is
default number.
provided by the user.
But how will you show the next set of numbers?
That will add
Loop.
plus 2.
No,
That
will
forget
add one.
loop. Forget loop. Again, come back to basics.
So first
So
we will.
if it is even, let's say if the number is true, then what are you doing?
Then we
Adding
will
one.
add 1.
You are going to add 1. Add
Yeah.
1 to increment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it was
Suppose it is number 2. Then the
Hmm.
plus 1 it will be 3.
+1 will give you 3, but then
But the
again,
next will be
But
will be
the-
plus 2.
After that, plus
If
2.
starting number is even, we will add 1, and starting number is odd, we will add 2.
I feel now there is a loophole in my question only.
No, if it
So,
is
according
I
to
made
your
it complicated for you for no reason. Okay, let me remove this part. Reason is I think I made it too complicated to begin with.
No, I got your question. The first step will be plus 1, and then it will go plus 2. So we will
Yeah.
the first step.
If
will
the
be
starting
plus
number
one,
is
and
even, we
next
will add
be
1.
plus
You will add 1, but after that you will do +2.
Yes.
plus 2.
And if its starting is odd, then you will not do that +1 thing first of all. You will
No,
only do
no.
an
First of all,
increment of 2.
then we will start with adding 2.
Okay.
Ishani, for the benefit of others, can we
Yes,
start
I'm going
from
to
basics?
simplify. I'm going to simplify. Benefit of everyone, because
I'm just asking that whatever we are saying, can we program it?
yes, I've programmed words. Trust me. I'll show you the programming I've done, and then you'll be surprised. Okay, what kind of automations are required in the industry? Write a program to show odd numbers between. Let's make our life easier. 1 to 20. How's this? Now this is doable. Gunjan is another planet only, huh?
You think it is easier now?
It is very easy now. Now it is very easy.
I think the problem is still same. Whether
No,
you
now
are
you don't
giving
have to
user is
check
giving
whether
a
it's even
number.
or odd, right? Now you don't have to check if it's even or odd. You know what is the starting number. So if I have to see the series, what is the odd number series over here? It's 1, 3, 5, 7. So how will I get 3, 5, 7?
By adding 2.
By adding 2.
By doing the increment of 2. How do you change the increment? By using the word step. That's it.
Let's try.
Okay.
Plus 2 would be the. We should consider as step plus 2. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Step 2. If you don't put any sign in front of it, it's a positive number. So you can just do step 2. Okay.
Could you scroll up your screen a little bit?
Sure. This helps?
Where we start this programming, I mean the programming stuff.
Sub. Start with sub, the name of the sub, dim, then for.
Ishani, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm running this program, the last final output should be 19, but I am getting the output of 21 also.
Did you send me the program?
No.
Just send it to me once.
Yeah.
Shani, done.
Done and correct also. Yes. See, nice and easy program now. Made your life easier.
Shani, done.
Okay. Did you send it, Tarun?
Hi, Shani.
Hi, Shani. Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, 1 second.
Shani, done.
Is it 3 already? Time runs so fast over here. For x is equal to 1 to step 2. But then what you've done? Message box I. X plus 2. Why x plus 2? Just message box x, right? So sub odd I is equal to integer step 2. This is fine, Sandeep.
Thank you, Shani.
Yeah.
So
So Tarun, just x, right? Why x plus 2? X plus 2 is being done by step.
Okay, fine.
Right?
Somehow my loop worked.
Somehow the loop worked.
Yes.
You make it sound like a bad thing. Somehow it worked. Sashish, it's done. Sanjeev, done.
Ishani, Shikhar this side.
Yes, Shikhar.
It's showing compile error in my code.
And underneath compile error, some English is there.
Can I share my screen? Could you please
Yes,
check
please.
this?
Yes, absolutely.
Spelling mistake maybe.
Yeah, that's might be there.
Yeah, same for me, compile error.
1 second. Let me spotlight for everyone. Number as integer. Number is equal to 1 to 20 step. Num. What is num? It would have given you the error of. Remember, we put option explicit yesterday for this purpose, so that I don't mix and match my variables.
Yes.
Yes. Now you declared number, but you're using num.
Number.
It won't allow you to do it today.
Okay.
That's the reason I yesterday only implemented this thing, because a lot of you were making this mistake. So it's message box number and next number. Yes, message box number and next number.
Okay.
Okay, who else said you also have the same issue?
Yeah, I'm Arshad.
So Arshad, even same problem. Check for your name of your variable that you're using.
Shani, my code is running, but in different way.
Okay, what do you mean?
I don't know. I can share.
Share. Somehow all of you have become active in VBA. This is good.
Can you see?
Number as integer, number 1 to 20 step, message box. Number, it's a variable, right? Variables you can never put in double quotes, because as soon as you put it in double quote, it becomes a text.
It becomes a text, right?
Remove the double quotes around it. Now it will work. Otherwise, it would have given you number, the word number, couple of times.
Oh, right. This was the only fault.
Yeah.
I was thinking program is something else.
No. That was the only issue. All right. So let me write this program. And I know you guys are write a program to show the odd number. So sub odd number and dim I as integer for I is equal to 1 to 20, step 2, and that's it. Message box I and next I. That's it.
Yeah, Shani, can we use operators or kind of function after step, like we do step 2? So something we can use step or that mod function. No?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we can. If I wanted to, what I understand from your question is, if there's any kind of calculation that is determining the step, can we write it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So Ishani, is it like required dim I as integer, because I like not mentioned it, still it's like run?
Dheeraj, because you did not do what I asked you to do yesterday, that is put option explicit in your program. Did you write that? No. Remember, yesterday we said I want everyone to write this line on the top, option explicit. If you write this, then you will see declaring the variable is compulsory. There is no way out without declaring.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So that's it for today. And tomorrow there is no class.
There will be no class?
I think.
Tomorrow is